Yes. In fact, you're leading me into something that I want to share about this couple. This young girl, new in her faith, she marries a non-believer. She marries a Muslim young man. He was actually studying to be an imam.
Wow.
And so, very bright young man. At the age of 15, he had passed all of the qualifications in his sect of Islam to teach adults the Quran. There was nothing behind it. It was just knowledge. He was just imparting knowledge to people. There was really nothing spiritual for him. He testified later. But she married him. And so as she married him, she started to try to tell him the gospel, tell him about Jesus, tell him about what she knew about the scriptures. He became very defensive, and he really just shut her down. Honestly, she was very transparent with us. She said, I stopped because I was afraid. I knew that I should keep telling him, but he was so defensive and emotional, I just stopped. So then she continued to tell us the story. She said, in a little while, he came back to her, a little while meaning months. He came back to her with some questions. And he posed the question as a way to kind of attack her faith. Well, if you say this about the Bible, then what about this? Or if this is the truth about Jesus as you've been told, okay, what about this? She had good answers. So she had answers to his questions, and it started to stir him spiritually because he had no foundation. He had no spiritual grounding in what he was teaching. Even though he had been trained and was teaching it to others, it wasn't providing anything in his heart of substance. So he continues to ask more questions. She continues to share. His heart gets softened, and he comes to faith. So now they're a married, young, believing couple. Okay, this is wonderful.
And he's also an Islamic instructor.
He's also an Islamic instructor.
He's a qualified Quranic instructor.
Exactly. So he walks away from that position. They start telling family about their faith. They lose their family. And what happens is the pastor that they were talking to in this city, very small city in Turkey, takes them in. And his wife and he, the pastor, become like a mother and father to them spiritually. And then the pastor's pastor who led him and discipled him, who lives about 5 hours away in another town, he becomes like an uncle or a grandfather to them. And so we asked them very point blank, you've lost all your family relationships. Your parents won't talk to you. Your siblings won't talk to you. Aunts, cousins, all this. Your whole support system won't talk to you, won't even acknowledge you. How difficult is that? And they said, well, it is very difficult. We love them, but we've lost family, but we've gained so much more family. And so he started pointing around the room. He pointed to the guys sitting there, and he said, I've gained him, and his kids are like my cousins. And
wow.
And so he just talked about this family, the family of faith, the family of God that he's welcomed into now and feels very much a part of.